importance of parental consent in marriage. All right, so in my intro, I did mention that the last weekend, it was quite eventful, especially on social media. A certain young lady, quite popular and doing very well for herself, if I must say, her name is Wafai Father. Okay, so she got engaged and got married subsequently, and of course in such an excitable mood, she posted photos and videos from those events online, and from that moment all hell broke loose. First of all, the father of the groom, engineer Kunle Cole, released a statement online that was quickly circulated by bloggers, like they have any other thing to do. Anyways, all right, so in the statement, the groom's father actually dissociated his family from the wedding that just took place, and also mentioned the fact that they do not know and do not accept the young lady, and she's therefore barred from using the name Cole, you know, as her name going forward. Okay, so while that was still trending and people were wondering, like, what could be the issue, an audio actually leaked online where you could hear family members talking about the reasons why they didn't accept the marriage. They mentioned the fact that the lady was older than the guy. All right, so the guy, according to the audio, is 30 and the lady is 38, even though some people have come online to say she's 33, not 38. It doesn't matter. But they mentioned the age difference as an issue. Also, the Cole family also said they only courted for about 6 to 7 months, which they think was too soon for them to have gotten married. According to reports, the lady is even already pregnant with a child. Okay, so as if all of this didn't matter, Wafai Father, the bride in question, came out on social media hours later to post yet another video of the happy occasion. And in that video we saw the groom's mother, whom, by the way, has been divorced or separated from the father for over 20-something years, all right, in full support of the marriage, dancing away and having fun at the wedding. Okay, so obviously there are conflicts, unresolved family issues, a lot of things, you know, on the under below that might not surface right now. Okay, but people started discussing this issue online. About some were for, you know, the couple. They were like, good thing you went ahead with your marriage. On the other hand were those who were like, you know, once a parent doesn't accept, you know, you don't go ahead and marry the person for peace of mind, so many things and all that. So, my dear lady and gentlemen, the people I have mentioned in my talk, they are not the focus of this conversation. I only mentioned those names for context, okay? We are just taking, you know, the case, the example of what happened, and that's what we're discussing. The importance of parental consent in marriage. Pastor Dolly, please help us. So what should you do when your parents oppose your choice of a partner? What should you do?
I think sometimes when we are in love, our kind of, especially we women, our reasoning capacity seems to be suspended, so that we just want what we want, because for us that is the best we think we can ever get at that time. But a time will come, like they say, when the chips are down, you now realize that I shouldn't have taken the decision I took. You see, this is Africa, whether we like it or not. Yes, by our law as a nation, once you are 18, you seek your parents' consent and they refuse to agree, you have the right to go and marry whoever you want to marry. You have that right. And because overseas, people respect this right of individuals. That is why we don't seem to see all this conflict. It's not like we don't also have issues where parents don't agree. But because they are protected by the law works there. So people just work with the law and they do what they want to do and they go free. And this demonic stuff is not much there too, because it's not just about parents saying don't marry. A lot of things can go behind the scene to work against that marriage. Not that the marriage ordinarily wouldn't have worked, but because the parents say don't, a lot of things on the background, forces will now back it up and make sure that that marriage does not stand. Few years, give it few years, crisis will set in. Crisis may rock it. Not because ordinarily they would not have been able to live together. So when you put all these things together, I would think that if the parent says don't, I think sometimes it's good to give it a second thought. Don't just rush into it because you want it. No, give it a second thought, because like they say, what an old man is seen sitting down. If you climb trees, you cannot see it. Sometimes because you're already in love, you will not be able to be critical in your thinking. You just see this and you feel that is it. But people around you, they are the ones that can be able to think for you at that time. They are the ones that can be able to point out the little things you are not able to point out. So that is why for me, it is good that you also examine what they are saying to you critically. Don't just rush into it.
Don't just disregard
them and throw it to the dustbin. Okay. Because they may be saving you from a very major disaster tomorrow, a very major problem tomorrow. But if you rush into it, you feel they don't matter. They will matter to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Pastor Dolly.
Talking about age difference, for me, I don't also see that as, we have seen so many people. I can still remember this missionary that came to Nigeria. He lived and died in Elisha, Papa Elton. You understand? The wife was 10 years older than him. They had a good man. They fulfilled their mission. So it's not always like, okay, if he is older, is a problem. Yeah. For me, I don't see that. At least we have seen the Prince Harry of this world and all the rest that married women that were older. So many, I can name here. You understand? And they are succeeding in their marriage. It's not about somebody being older. For me, that is just an excuse.
Thank you.
They should bring up another excuse.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Malik, this issue of parental consent.
Okay. I would have loved to start from one of the points you actually raised. When your parent does not agree, forces kind of get activated. I don't know if you can help me bring clarity in that area, because I'm seems not to be agreeing to
this
that.
This is Africa.
I will bring clarity
so
to that.
This is Africa.
Yes, it is Africa. They said the costless cost shall not come. So if the people that are not saying yes to it have not gone behind to mix up anything to work against you, I'm not sure anything will rise up, because those really they say because they say no, just the thought. But when it comes to parental consent, like you said, love could be blinding. So what I would advise is to be patient, persuade your parents, talk to them continuously, convince them. If you have to wait longer, you know, that might even help you to stay more than 6 months in your courtship while you're waiting. That time can also help you heal some of the things that they are seeing that might not be right or that might not be clear. You know, that I think is an important aspect. Whether they accept or not is secondary, sincerely secondary. The first place is who are the people in that relationship. Are they able to make it work?
The man and the woman.
Because if the whole world say, yes, go ahead, and the two of you are not making it to work in your home, it will still scatter. So the first primary people that are involved in this are the people that are getting together. Your parental consent is very vital, but if you don't get it, seek spiritual consent. Let your spiritual head have a say, a yes to it.
And if you don't have a spiritual head?
Sorry, if you don't have a spiritual head.
Exactly, there are people who don't.
Yeah, okay.
Who don't believe in God or even.
Okay, so if you don't have a spiritual, probably you want to go through counseling. At least there are professional counselors, not necessarily spiritual counselors, okay, that might help you guide those things that might not be clear to you. But really, I think the people involved are more important to making this thing work.
Permit me, Mr. Malik, to butt in here. All right, so I get what you're saying. The most important people are the couple themselves, yes, and whether or not they are in agreement, you know, to become one by marriage. But as much as we always want to put this we are exposed, we're civilized narrative forward, underlying that is that fundamental truth that will never go away, that we are Africans, and here in Africa you don't marry singularly.
Definitely.
And that, I think that's the only way I can put it.
Yes,
all right,
definitely.
you are coming into marriage and you are coming with the entire village, the entire community, and moving into another village. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So you cannot stand in isolation
Definitely.
in taking that decision. But when you have tried everything else, for instance, like you said, if the reasons given by your parents are very
Vague,
flimsy, such as the age difference, or because me and your mother, we are not, so for anything she agrees on, I cannot agree. Those kind of, if those are the reasons, should you still continue waiting and convincing? Let's not forget this lady is pregnant already, which I think was a factor in going ahead to get married regardless.
Yes.
That's my opinion, though.
Yeah. So, like you said, see, you might not wait forever, but do your best in convincing them, persuading them. Let them see reasons. If they have reasons, share it. Let them share with you. Discuss these things. They say in discussing these things, you find solution. So discuss it. If at the end they are standing no to it, see, I know of a couple celebrating almost 30 years in marriage. The parent of the bride, yes, did not accept this man because he's like to them. In fact, it was tribal issue. It's a Yoruba man, and you are coming from the east. They did not accept. Today, both our family and his family, they are under the cover of this couple. They are like spiritual head to them right now. They listen to them, anything they say. So if she has said she's tilting to her parents, what will be the future? Those are the unfolding future that we are not too sure of what is going to become.
And that we do not know.
That we do not know.
So, and how do you determine that, from that point of view of we no agree, we no agree, we no agree? Because you are just going into it, you're taking a risk. Because you don't know. You don't know if it's going to work or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So how do you now know that, let me go ahead with this thing,
in sincerity,
it will work?
I can tell you, you cannot know.
You can't know. Thank you for being honest about that.
I know about a woman whose son brought a girl home. He wants to marry the girl. Initially, the mother said, okay. After about 2-3 years courtship, the mother says, no, my son, you can. He's the only child of the mother. The boy is the only child of the mother. The mother says, you can't marry this girl. He listened to the mother and broke that relationship. He brought a second girl home. The mother said, no, I don't like this one again. Then he broke up with that one. He brought a third one. I haven't dated this one for about 5 years. The mother says, initially she also supported. Somewhere along when they started talking about marriage, the mother said, no, you cannot marry her.
There's something.
And I was consulted. What do we do? If it was even their pastor that consulted me. Look at the problem I'm facing. I don't know what to say. I said, you know what to say, ma. Let that marriage go on. Join them. Otherwise, that boy is going to remain unmarried for life. As far as the mother is concerned, she doesn't want that boy to marry.
No woman is good enough for her son.
That is the truth about that relationship.
You could easily sense both spiritual and emotional attachment to the boy.
I don't know whether it's emotional, because
That
if it's
the mother
emotional,
doesn't want to let him go because she's seeing him as the only,
but most mothers like that with just one child, we even rush into marriage so you
So
can
that you can gain a daughter-in-law, a daughter.
Yeah.
You are not letting him marry. You don't have reasons. The reason, then the sister of the mother had assured the young man will come for the marriage. Few days so he called him and said, please, I don't want problem. I cannot come. So there
She
was
must have
no
been threatened.
From
all
his
the
side.
relations that want to come, they are like, I don't want the mother's problem. I don't want. They all stayed away. But the wedding was done. Thank God they are blessed with children. They are moving on with their lives. They are happy. Because there are cases that, even as much as I believe parents should be consulted. But when parents becomes overbearing, when parents want to dictate your life for you completely, when parents don't think you have opinion, when it has to do something that has to do with your own life, you don't have opinion as an adult. You are not more a child, an adult. Exactly. When parents refuse to allow you to be an adult, then it is now left to you to take your decision with or without them.
Thank you so much, everyone. All right, so I have a from the cleric there himself. All right, so not in all cases are parents being selfish when they put their foot down, you know, on your choices of a life partner. Sometimes some parents actually know, or they can see ahead, you know. That's why they're your parents. You know, after God is them. All right, so I get that part. But like he said in that video, if the reasons are flimsy, they don't make sense, please go do you, okay? Especially if you are sure that the choice you have made, you know, is coming from a place of love, of value, respect for each other, and you're sure that this is the person I want. It's not a sin for you to proceed. But in this particular case that we've referenced in this conversation, I think it's a much bigger issue. A lot of people are wading in, all right, from what I heard. All right, first of all, the lady in question, the bride, is someone known to so many people, which is why the story trended, excuse me, the way it did, all right? Plus, the family she's married into, all right, is also a prominent family in Lagos State. So that's why the story is that big. Okay, so a quick personal story, my personal story. My late mother of blessed memory, I have a stepbrother whom, you know, decided to get married that year and brought the girl home, and my mother was no. You know how mothers can be, you know. And then so when we, the other ones, we waited in, you know, so we asked her, Mommy, okay, what is your reason for, like, this is one dude, we were even happy, finally decided to get married, and now you are the one saying, my mom said the lady is not good looking. To be honest with you, she wasn't. Okay. Okay, yeah, so we knew, but that's his choice. Okay, so what's your problem? And my mother was like, the grandkids are going to be ugly. She couldn't. Look, my mom is blunt like that. God rest her soul. So, we couldn't say anything. It even got bad to the point. I'm ashamed to say this, but you know, I don't share half stories. I go all the way and say the truth. There was an incident, the lady came to the house and my mom poured pepper water on her. Like things you see in Nollywood movies, it really happened. Like it really happened. Wow. I'm talking about my own mom. Okay, so it went on like that. So my stepbrother got angry and he just went ahead, picked a wedding date, printed wedding invitations, and voila, that was it. 2 weeks to the wedding, my father had to call a family meeting and was like, are we about to disgrace this family? This young man insists us who he wants to marry. Please, whatever your reasons are, madam, leave them. Okay? It's not you who's going to wake up and be seen. Leave. And let me fast forward to 2 years after. She had a baby and the boy died the second day after birth. And my mom nursed this lady like her own child. All right? 3 years after, she couldn't get pregnant again, and she was worried and all over the place. And I remember I was at home that day. I heard my mom having a conversation. This same lady she rejected. After she was married to the family, my mother just, all the hatred turned to love. All right, because at that point, she's already your daughter-in-law. You know, so I heard her having a conversation with this, my sister-in-law, and she told her, she's like, why are you worried? Didn't you have a child? Unfortunately, it didn't stay. You will have a child. Am I pressuring you? Is anybody pressuring you? Me, I waited 7 years to have it. Relax your mind. You know, at that point, I'm like, God. You know, she gave the lady peace. Fast forward 2 years later, she's had 2 beautiful kids after that. Now fast forward to years later, when my mom got sick before she passed, this daughter-in-law, you know, was the one that took the most care of my mom.
There you go.
She took, like, all of us will be around and we don't need to do anything when she's there. She took the most care of my mother till she passed. My mother prayed for her, blessed her before she passed. Look, I'm trying to say by this story, all right? People have reasons why they do or say or don't agree to things. They might be unimportant. But what I'm trying to say is when we allow love lead, all right, the end of that story would just be beautiful for everybody. So I understand what this couple might, you know, be thinking at the moment. They're all rebellious and all of that. Let's let love lead. Also for the groom, the father of the groom, whatever the issues are, sir, please, they are your children and they're about to bring a grandchild, you know, to the world. Let us allow love to lead. That's it. Because this life is too short, really, and we don't know tomorrow. We don't know.
The beauty of the story you just told us is the fact that the future you do not know.
You don't know the future.
No matter where you stand, what you say, what you disagree or you agree to, the future's unfolding.
Yes.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be this or that. We might want to look at the prophetic to, you know, have a foresight into that. But if we don't know a full picture, let's allow love to lead. Like
allow love to lead.
And the reason why the whole story ended well was because her mom learned to forgive. The moment the son married that woman, she took her as, okay, I don't really like you, I don't want you, but now that my son has taken, you are my son's choice and I have no choice, I have to align.
Yes, she did.
Till the end. Some mothers will never.
They will never.
They will do all they can to make sure that marriage doesn't work.
Nah.
Why is it that celebrities?
That was not
because
my
you
mom.
asked before, you don't know that behind the scene work that they do. You know, if I can explain that. Why is it that celebrities, their marriages in most cases does not work? It's not because they are the worst people on earth. It's not because they are bad people. Because they are in the eye of the people. People's mouth, people's opinion.
They are being judged constantly for the wrong reasons.
Yes, for the wrong reasons. Things they are not. They are called what they are not. We just saw the case of Mercy Chinwo's son. You understand? Things like that that people do to celebrities kind of create those problems for them. So parents are also like that. The moment they don't support, if the woman says good morning, they will turn it around, look at the way she said the good morning.
So rude.
If she says good evening, she look at the way she's even saying it, and things like that. Not because they are bad people, not because they cannot really be your friend, but each time they want to show friendship to you, they want to be your friend, the way you react. I know of a woman whose mother-in-law, not to her knowledge anyway, didn't accept the marriage. Then she started trading to Dubai. She buys clothes for the mother-in-law. And the mother-in-law will say, hey, is it not my son's money? And she was even the one feeding the son at that time. Yes, she will say, is it not my son's money? That she does the thank you, she's good. She will never get a thank you from her. All she will hear is that she says, is it not my son's money? She used to buy it. So people like that.
Not knowing that the son was not even.
He
didn't have a dime.
There are people like that, mother-in-laws like that. They are ready to frustrate the OT. Those who are diabolical, those who are witches, they will use everything within their reach to make sure that relationship doesn't work. My own advice, like I said earlier, you know, few years before now, I will always just come up and say, hey, they're not Greek, go and marry. I can't say that again. Because I've seen, I've heard, I've witnessed, and I know that when the parents say no, usually in most cases, it doesn't end well. Just stay away. Honest, especially
for your own sanity.
For your own sanity. There are better men in the world that you can marry and you still have your peace.
Well,
it's a lot. And let's not forget the reasons again, you know, are what you should look at. If the reasons given for saying no, for opposing your choice of a partner are not
genuine enough.
Yes, enough, then you might have to be the one to make a decision for yourself. For instance, I know some parents who have had maybe like a bad experience or two with people from a certain part of the country or tribe, you know, who just because of that hates the entire tribe. And then their children will never have anything to do with that tribe again. You know, so those kind of reasons I don't think are genuine enough. They're
Yeah,
I
not.
can tell you sincerely, my mom was like that too.
Okay.
Because she had a bad experience from a particular tribe. And she will always say, if you come home with such people, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You know,
don't even bring them home. Just go with them.
at the time, when no teen side of food, I keep telling her, there are good and bad people
Everywhere.
So don't judge this tribe because of 2-3 people you have experienced. You know, because you won't know if you are going to block this person's advancement by denying him or her, you know, this opportunity. The truth about it is, if you as an adult have not been able to cut the umbilical cord from your parent in the place of decision making, you're going
From
to
the
be in trouble,
beginning.
especially for the man, because the Bible says, a man shall leave his father and mother's home. That
And
thing is not only
cleave.
physical. The thing is that if you cannot decide on your own and have a good decision made, yes, you will seek their counsel. But if you cannot stand, especially even if you are married, talk about even the one that their parent agreed, and the parent, especially the mother, is not controlling the man, you have problem in that home. You understand? So beyond parental consent, if your mom or your dad is not controlling your home from their home remotely, I mean, you're going to still have issues. So they might concede because they know they can control everything. So many versions of life that we're looking at here. So being able to stand on the truth, on your ground, and be able to get their counsel is important. So learn to, you know, to stand where you ought to be. Don't, you know, tilt to one party or the other party. Stay where you ought to be and build your hope.
Okay, all right. You want to add?
Yeah, what I want to say is that because in the case of parents' consent that we're talking about in marriage, you know, there are cases too where the parents are very correct.
No,
For instance, we talk about red flags that you should see, and you know that look, this relationship should not end in marriage. Sometimes
because
you're
you are
already
in love, you don't
can't
see them.
It will take your parents to see those things. You know that the kind of parent you have too should be able to help you to know what they want for you. Because there are parents that are very honest, that want the best for their children, that wouldn't even choose for their children. But when you bring a girl, for instance, in the first instance, they love the girl, they want the girl, but when they start seeing those characters, that is going to give you problem if you marry such a girl. And they are talking to you, it's not like they are not telling you. They are telling you these are reasons why you should not go with this relationship. And you are insisting on going there. No, you shouldn't. You should listen to them in that case. For instance, you've not married a girl or a boy. You're already fighting. You're already injuring yourself in the place of fight. There is no future in such relationship.
You're already breaking plates on television when they are angry.
You have not entered
Red
any
flag.
relationship.
No, that's more than red flag.
Run,
You
no.
understand? That is more than red flag. That whether it's the one wrong, you are the one wrong. That you are even fighting at all. You shouldn't think of going into such
Thank you. That was a good point, Pastor Dolly. Sometimes love blinds you to the point where you don't see those red flags, and it only takes an attentive parent, you know, to point them out to you, and that could actually be a genuine reason for you to not go on with the marriage. I wish we had more time. Our time is up. But so, the conversation at the table is not to say that people shouldn't listen to their parents. No, even the good book says, honor thy father and thy mother. All right. Your parents know a whole lot more than you based on experience. They've been here longer than you, so they know what they're talking about. But we are saying that when it comes to choosing a life partner, all right, you've got to weigh the odds and weigh them with wisdom. If the reasons given are not life-threatening, they are not valid, they are flimsy, they are things that, you know, are not really, you know, up to anything, then you might have to look inwards and then make a decision for yourself. Having said that, to all those couples, you know, who are waiting because a parent or the two parents are putting their foot down, we pray God gives you the patience and the courage and the wisdom, you know, to take the right decision. Thank you so much to my guest today, Mr. Raphael Malik. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Pastor Dolly. Thank you for another fantastic Thursday. Thank you, viewers. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have yourself a good day. And once again, let love lead always. Bye for now.